You're listening to the Sound Creator Podcast, the show that brings you deep diving analysis and conversations covering my world of field recordings, sound design, and sound effects. I'm Cedric Black, your host. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up. And most of all, thank you for listening. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of the Sound Creator Podcast. And I'm excited to be back this week because number one, it's a nice sunny day outside, and there's been so much rain for the past week since our last episode. And well, another thing is the temperature. It's unseasonably cool for May. It's we're finally made it to the month of May, and normally it starts warming up a lot more, but here in Arkansas where I live, the weather changes from day to day. So it's cool today. Tomorrow could be, triple digits. You never know, but that's how it is here in Arkansas. But I'm glad to be back to bring another episode to you guys. And I think this should be about the ninth episode. Almost made it to the 10 episode milestone, and I'll keep bringing the episodes to you week after week. But that's the plan, to continue with a weekly show. And I'd like to start off every episode by usually giving you a small introduction about the show. If you've been listening for the past few episodes, and you already know what the show is about, but if you're brand new, this is my time to tell you what it is. It's called the Sound Creator Podcast, and it's a show about me as a sound designer and my work in sound design and creating sound effects for film and movie, TV, media, game audio, everything that needs sound. And my world of my environment of what I do for my work, I give examples of the sounds that I've created and just discuss it a little bit. And sometimes I will talk about a little story behind the sound and why it was important to me, and the things I did that I felt were important enough to stand out to want to share with you guys. So that's what the show is about. And what I have noticed is, and being a sound designer, I also compose music. So a lot of times you may hear music. A lot of times you may hear music in the sounds that I create or as a backdrop. So any music that you do hear, it's my music 100% created by me. So just wanted to clarify that, so there's no issues with copyright strikes that may appear. Because I've seen those, especially in YouTube videos, where, and it actually happened to me once. I just used a piece of music in a video. I think it was early on during the time, maybe 2 years ago, when I posted a video and I used a piece of music, and it was just a small piece. I think it was maybe like some percussion sounds from a sound pack that I had purchased, but somehow YouTube gave me a strike, and I wasn't able to show the video. But any music that you do hear that's associated with the sounds, now anything that you hear playing in the background is indeed my music that I've created. So that out of the way, and this week's sound comes from I think a few episodes back, I answered a couple of emails that a few people had sent me regarding sound design. So I think I remember saying that I was going to use one episode and just record simple sounds with my cell phone, because I think I mentioned that you don't need a lot of equipment. Yeah, the question was, what equipment do I need to get started in sound design? So I said that you don't need a lot of equipment. You can also just use your cell phone. You can start with your cell phone. I use mine a lot. And so this example and this sound, that's exactly what I did. I just wanted to make sure that I kept my promise to the person that emailed me about this. And that's what I did. I didn't go anywhere. I was just in my kitchen one day, and I remembered, I said, okay, I need to do this. And I just want to show, in case they listen, or in case they come across this episode, or whoever listens, that you can do this with something simple as a cell phone. I just use my cell phone and a recording app that I have on my cell phone. I'm sure most cell phones have some type of recording app that comes with it nowadays. Mine does. And I also have one that I downloaded from the App Store. And I just use my cell phone. And nothing major, but this is a sound that I captured from my cell phone. I mean, you already know what it is from the title, but I'll play it. I'll play two versions of it. There's a raw version, which is just a sound that I captured by itself, and then I'll play there's a processed version, which I just use the same sound, but I manipulated it a little bit, added some bells and whistles, or little sprinkles of special sauces here and there, just to beef up the sound and make it more cinematic, make it bigger. So here is that sound. Here's the raw sound first, and then I'll play the process sound. Okay, so all I did was I took my cell phone, and that is my dishwasher here at home in my kitchen. It's just a drawer, the racks that you pull out to place the dishes on, and that's it. That's all it is. I recorded that. It's just a motion, back and forth motion of opening and closing, sliding the dishwasher rack doors in and out. Maybe keep that in mind, and now I'll play the process sound, which is it's a little bigger sound. Just add a few more things to it. I'll play it, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So I didn't do a lot to that sound this time. I added some reverb just to give it just a more of a roomy effect. Just the raw sound by itself, it sounds fine, great where it is. I think it's something that can be used, and I'm sure that I will use that sound too, because I create these sounds and I also sell them. I have them available for people to purchase. So I can see that this is one sound that I will use for that, but just the raw sound by itself sounds fine to me. Now I just added the reverb and beefed it up a little bit, and also eliminated. What's wrong with me this morning? I also eliminated a couple of the bad frequencies and active frequencies. You don't hear them as much because I already got rid of them. But that's all I did for that, just to beef it up a little bit more. I also pitched it down just a little bit. Maybe I think that it was a semitone down. I pitched it down, and normally when you pitch it down on certain sounds, especially if it's something mechanical, it slows the sound, the tempo of the sound. It slows it down. So you have to be careful not to pitch it down too much. And also, it depends on the sample rate that you record. Because The higher the sample rate that you record, the more you're able to manipulate it, and it doesn't really affect the artifacts of the sound. So that's what I did this week, and that's this week's sound. Just the rack from the dishwasher. So I'll play it one more time before we close out. Yeah, just something simple. And so just remember, if you're just starting out, or if you're wondering how you can get started, just use your cell phone and just record stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. Just be creative. And I think the more that you do, the more that you record and get comfortable with what you do and what you're recording, the more creative you can become, and then you start eventually finding sweet spots. And that will probably be a topic of another podcast show, another episode, just finding the sweet spot of the sound, because that's really important also. But that's an entire art form. I can talk about it, and I will talk about it. So I'm not going to say that's probably going to be an episode. It will be an episode, because that's really important. So thanks for showing up this week and taking the time my tongue is really twisted today. Thanks for showing up this week and taking the time to listen to another podcast show. I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and a review. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram @saidblack, or via my website at cedricblack.com. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.